Hello and welcome to yet another discussion about the ongoing conversation about Apostle Joseph Suleman and Halima Abubakar. Recently, this blogger STELLA DIMOKO KORKUS has stepped into the conversation because apparently she had been in communication with Halima Abubakar still about Apostle Joseph Suleman. Well, this is just the beginning part of this. There's going to be part 2 and part 3. Hopefully, as we discuss and I look at this clearly, let's ask a question. Who is STELLA KORKUS? Let her introduce herself to you right now so you get to know her for 1 minute.
Ladies and gentlemen, world-renowned blogger STELLA DIMOKO KORKUS. Did I get it?
Add some respect. I'm a journalist.
Journalist. Hey. Because even we said we don't join on for that blogging.
I'm actually the blognalyst.
Blognalyst.
Blogs, yeah.
A journalist who blogs. Okay.
So that was her interview with Daddy Freeze back in 2020 when Daddy Freeze was asking her some questions about blogging, and would I say he was getting into blogging full time? I would say, Daddy Freeze, how are you doing? Hope you are doing good. Okay. Now looking at this particular woman now, this is not the first time Stella is getting into conversations about Apostle Joseph Suleman, and in fact we can say anyone that has posted anything about Suleman in the past has been involved in his conversation. Okay, so let's not make that too special. But if you remember the story of Daniela Okeke back in 2017, she was mentioned to have been linked with Apostle Joseph Suleman and even said to have had a baby for him. Now, funny enough, if you have not watched my video early this year, the video is linked in the description section looking at the relationship between Apostle Suleman and Daniela Okeke based on a leaked text conversation between two of them that was released by someone that lived with Apostle Suleman for the period of 8 to 9 years, Amos. So if you have not caught up with that, the video is right here for you. Now, why did I have to talk about the person of Daniela Okeke? Because she is very significant in the conversation about Halima and even looking at Stella herself. When the news broke out about Daniela Okeke and Apostle Joseph Suleman, the only person that Daniela Okeke had an exclusive interview with, sharing her own part of the story, because Stephanie Otobo called her out, being that Apostle Suleman told Stephanie Otobo about Daniela Okeke. Daniela Okeke responded, but only gave her audience to STELLA KORKUS. So what does this mean now? Is either Stella herself is a damage control expert for the person of Apostle Joseph Suleman, maybe she was paid to do so, or she, being a blogger in her own respect, just earned that exclusive right to be the one to interview Daniela Okeke, and then from her interview with Daniela Okeke sharing her own part of the story with Apostle Joseph Suleman, other blogs got to know about it. So of course, first-hand information always becomes where the traffic goes to. Do we understand this right now? So there are two sides to look at this. But let me look at what Daniela Okeke told Stella about her relationship with Apostle Joseph Suleman back then, even though we understand right now that two of them were rampant. If you have not watched the video, it's there in the description section if you're watching me on YouTube anyway. So let's look at this squarely. Send a fire. Stella KORKUS had an interview with Daniela Okeke, and then she asked Daniela Okeke, do you want to tell us why you have been tagged as dating a man of God? What is your side of the story? This is what Daniela Okeke said, and now listen to what she said. She said, the man of God in question is a father to me, but we live in a world where people judge you with their own standard. They said he bought me a Benz. That was verified. In case you don't know, I don't own any and I have never owned any. I read he bought me a car and a house in his name. That's an insult. If you have not watched the video I'm talking about now, it is there between this particular conversation right now about the house and all that. In a conversation between Daniela Okeke and Suleman, it was leaked. So both of them have talked about it. So that means she was lying to Stella right here. Even Adela Firehun looked at the story where the car number, everything was there. She said, aside being a showbiz person, I have a relationship with God. I kept quiet because my lawyer found out it was more than just a stupid rumor or scandal. It became a political and religious fight against my father. I am answering now, Stella, because you are asking it directly, which no one has done. And I also want to address this senseless rumor. Let me tell you something if you are watching me right now, okay? And you're a celebrity and people talk about you, blah, blah, blah. Just like right now, nobody has asked Stella KORKUS any question right now. And she has come out on her own to release a story with regards to her relationship with Halima and how she got involved before Halima gets to drop her own side. So if you call yourself a celebrity and there's a rumor about you, you don't need to really need a media house to interview you or ask you questions. You have a platform with a lot of following. You sit down on your platform, address this issue, and then move on. So this whole idea doesn't make sense. So this particular point right now struck me. I was like, what is she saying right here? What is Stella KORKUS doing at this point? Because I don't know if you get what I'm saying. But moving on right here, she now continues to say that Nellokeke continues to say countless male actors have been helped by the same man, and even though they all kept quiet when the saga was on, does that mean anything is going on with him and them? Or it's because I am a woman and a good target for their plan and lies? Listen, when he said countless male actors, as time goes on, we are going to look at quite a number of names. Gistlover mentioned this man to be Apostle Suleman's pimp, according to Gistlover, allegedly. Doris Ogala, the actress who was involved with Jeremiah Motofufuin's case and Prof X and all that, mentioned we looked at a late conversation between Doris Ogala and Suleman concerning Otobo, and Prof X said she got the mobile number of Apostle Suleman from the head of Actors Guild Nigeria, Nyekwaya here. So what are you getting the point now? So what she said right here makes a lot of sense. So right now, if you see that with the case of Halima, some actresses are calling for people to come out and talk and all that, and the actresses are keeping quiet, and maybe the actors are, you should know something. That brings me to the recent video that was made by Choma Efemeludike, this one. The one that boldly came out and said she did rampam with Apostle Suleman. Listen to what she said here.
This particular man always comes up in the news. And this is one of the reasons why I made my confession. Aside from the fact that I had this burden to say this, the very reason I gave, which I still reiterate today, is the fact that every other person who comes out to say their truth gets intimidated. A person is constantly lying, denying. It's a weakness that you have this lifestyle, and it's obvious. Even if a lot of people don't want to come and say the truth, deep in their hearts, they know. It's either they've had something with you, or they know the person you've had it with, and you blatantly lie on the pulpit, and you say you're a Christian, and people follow you, and people are ready to die or kill for you, and you say you are a Christian. I'm not even talking about the priest of the Most High God. A Christian. I say this. The fact that people like me, Choma Grace Ifemeludike, is in this case, is still dead. I can never be silent about this, no matter where I am. Nothing. Every time this case comes up, I will be up. And my story remains what it is from day one. It's not enough that this particular man, who claims to be a man of God, Apostle Nakademus, aka, you keep denying, You keep lying. Now you want to harass, persecute, whatever it is you're doing to your victims. And our society is supposed to sit down and watch the same people who want to crucify Yul Edochie. You people want to crucify Yul Edochie for honorably. I'm not making a case for him because I'm one of the people who condemned his act. I still condemn it. Disloyalty in marriage is unacceptable. Even if you want to get a second wife, which traditionally is okay, you need to have a conversation. You need to talk to your wife. Get her approval. That's how it's done. Yul Edochie is just a man. He's not a man of God. He's not leading a crowd. He's not standing on the pulpit. He's not kabashing. He's not doing any of that. He's not responsible for any multitude. He is only failing in his own little constituency, his family, which is his own business and responsibility. But you people carry it on your head. I see the energy. Some women are fuming. Actresses are mobilizing for May Edochie. The same actresses that sleep with different married men. Are they crazy? 80% of the girls in Hollywood feed off from married men. These are the same people that will come and curse Yul Edochie. So all the men, because the men have not married people, all the men people are sleeping with, are doing runs with, they don't have wives, sabi? Oh, because it's not official. You don't know that money that you're collecting from those men. They're supposed to use it for their family. You don't know you're boycotting a family. Judy is better than you. So now you feel so concerned about Yul Edochie. You don't have such other human feelings for Halima Abubakar, who is a senior colleague in Hollywood, whom some of you, one way or the other, is afflicted to, was friends with. None of you that are mobilizing for May Edochie have mobilized for Halima against this man. When I did my confession, the very first minute I dropped that video on the internet on my Instagram page, it was on I think it was on a Saturday or on a Friday. That was on the 20th of August, 2021. I got a call. I got a message. I got a message from Chomo Okoye. This life, we need to be very careful. You know, we need to be very careful. Chomo Okoye, she sent me a message. And she said, bring down that video. Because somehow, I've known Choma for a long time. I mean, I did one of my very old movies with Choma's production. So since then, she's like, okay, big sister, like a senior colleague. And I think recently, sometime last year, before that confession, I did one of her movies. So she contacted me. Even before the movie, she contacts me for personal stuff, business, and I try to see how I can do one or two with her. So I think that was what gave her the leverage or the thinking that she could manipulate me or control me. No. I know you don't do that. Nobody. When I'm convinced in my spirit, because me and my chi, we work together, we talk. So if my chi approves of anything, who are you, a human being, to tell me what to do? Don't listen. So maybe she felt because of all of that, okay, she would confuse me, because it was going to be a confusion. How would I put out the truth? You're not asking me, Ne, how correct is this? Is this true? Are you okay? If this is true, how did it affect you? What do you want? No. You're telling me to bring down the video. As what, Madam Chomo Okoye? 1 year later, I'm asking you, what grounds? Who gave you the effrontery?
Did you hear the name Chomo Okoye? Chomo Okoye, we looked at her person with respect to Kemi Olulayo and Iyabo Ojo video we made. If you have not watched the video, it is still there in the description section. Some of you have not caught up with where we are right now, but we have gone far. The same Chioma Okoye that called Kemi Olulayo and was begging Kemi Olulayo to do a good PR for Apostle Suleman after she came out of the Iyabu Ojo situation with Pastor Pastor Ebiyome, which was really all about Apostle Suleman, but there was more of like a decoy situation right there. If you have not looked at that video, you will not understand how Chioma Okoye has a link with the person of Apostle Suleman, to the point that even when Chioma Olodike came out with her confession, Chioma Okoye became the one calling Chioma Olodike to take down the video and do damage control. Are you beginning to understand the linkage between Apostle himself and Nollywood? Is he just a philanthropist that these people love him so much that behind the scenes are working tooth and nail to save his name? Or is there something else we are not seeing? But if you have been looking at the patterns of our conversation, you will know that Rampam is involved somewhere. Because even in Halima's case, this same Stella right now that was interviewing Daniela Okeke confirmed that for a fact there was Rampam.
Elijah, send a fire. Bless my attack. Oniduro mi eshe o. Oniduro mi eshe o púpọ̀. Oniduro mi eshe o. Oniduro mi eshe o púpọ̀. Ó jẹ́ ènìyàn ló dúró mi wọ́n ti mọ̀ sí ego. Oniduro mi eshe o. Ọlọ́run o. Oniduro mi eshe o. Oniduro mi eshe o púpọ̀. Ó jẹ́ ènìyàn ló dúró mi wọ́n ti mọ̀ sí ego. Oniduro mi eshe o. Ah! Oniduro mi eshe o. Kutu! Omo! Tí mo jọmọ Jésù. Wo! Tí mo jọmọ Dádì. Oniduro mi eshe o púpọ̀. Ó jẹ́ ènìyàn ló dúró mi wọ́n ti mọ̀ ṣe o. Oniduro mi eshe o.